The stranger in the waves. The sea was restless that night. The wind howled over the small fishing village, and the waves crashed against the wooden docks. Captain Ray stood at the edge, watching the black water shift and foam under the moonlight. He had spent his life at sea, but something about tonight felt different. He had heard the stories before. Fishermen talked about strange lights deep under the waves, glowing shapes that moved faster than any fish. Some said it was just deep-sea creatures. Others whispered about spirits. Ray never believed in spirits, but he had learned one thing: the ocean always hid secrets. His boat swayed gently as he prepared his diving gear. The villagers had warned him not to go out in this weather, but that only made him more curious. If something unusual was out there, he wanted to see it for himself. He dropped into the cold water, the surface closing over his head. The noise of the storm faded into the muffled silence of the deep. His flashlight cut through the darkness, showing schools of fish darting away from his path. He kept moving down, scanning the shadows. That's when he saw it, a faint blue glow. Far below him, it pulsed slowly, like the heartbeat of the sea. Ray adjusted his mask and swam toward it. The light grew stronger, outlining a shape. It wasn't a fish, and it wasn't a machine. It was a figure. She floated gracefully, her body moving with the current as if she was part of the water itself. Her skin shimmered with shades of blue and silver, reflecting the light around her. Fins ran along her arms, and her hair flowed like strands of glowing kelp. Her eyes were the brightest thing in the dark, two orbs of white-blue light. Ray froze, not out of fear, but awe. He had never seen anything like her. The alien girl looked at him, tilting her head slightly. She didn't move closer or further away. She simply watched, as if deciding whether he was a threat. Ray raised his hand slowly in greeting. She blinked once, then turned, her body slicing through the water with incredible speed. The glow around her faded into the darkness. He tried to follow, but she was gone, swallowed by the deep. Ray surfaced, gasping for air. The storm had calmed a little, but the wind still carried a chill. He climbed back into his boat, his mind racing. He knew what he saw, and it wasn't just some strange fish. It was intelligent. It was alive in a way that felt different. The next morning, the village was buzzing with news. Strange objects had washed up on the shore, shells that glowed faintly, pieces of metal shaped like nothing humans had ever made. Some of the elders looked uneasy, muttering about bad omens. Others said it was a sign of a storm coming. Ray knew it was connected to her. He didn't know how, but he could feel it. That evening, he prepared to dive again. This time, he would not just watch from a distance. He wanted to speak to her, to know her name. The villagers called him foolish, but Ray only smiled. The water was calmer than the night before. The moon cast a silver path across the waves, guiding him out to the spot where he had seen her. He slipped beneath the surface, the cold wrapping around him like a second skin. He swam deeper, following the same path. His light swept across the rocky sea floor. And then he saw it again, that faint blue glow. But something was different this time. The glow was larger, moving in slow circles. As he got closer, his breath caught in his throat. It wasn't just her this time. Something huge moved behind her, its shadow swallowing the light. Two massive eyes glowed faintly from the darkness, and the shape of a jaw lined with teeth became clear. The alien girl didn't look afraid. She turned toward the shadow, and the massive creature backed away slightly. Her hand made a slow, sweeping motion, and the thing vanished into the deep. Ray couldn't believe what he had seen. She had control, not just over herself, but over something far larger and more dangerous. She turned back to him, swimming closer this time. The glow around her lit up his face. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, he saw a faint smile. Then, just as quickly, she pushed away, disappearing once more into the vast darkness, leaving him with more questions than answers. When Ray surfaced again, the night was still and quiet. He sat in his boat, staring at the horizon. He didn't know who she was or what she wanted, but he knew one thing: he would see her again. And when he did, he would be ready to find out what secret she carried beneath the waves. Secrets of the deep. The next morning, Ray could think of nothing else but the glowing alien girl. Every detail replayed in his mind: the shimmer of her skin, the way she moved through the water, the giant shadow she controlled with a single gesture. He walked along the docks, listening to the villagers talk. More strange objects had washed up overnight: smooth metallic fragments, glowing shells, and strands of something that looked like woven seaweed, but felt like metal. The fishermen avoided touching them, muttering about curses. Ray picked up one of the glowing shells and turned it in his hand. It felt warm, almost alive. He knew these were not from any creature he had ever seen in the ocean. They were hers, or from whatever world she came from. By midday, Ray had made his decision. He would dive again, but this time he would try to communicate. He packed extra lights, a small underwater recorder, and a waterproof board with a marker. If she could not speak his language, maybe she could understand symbols. The water was calm as he steered his small boat out to the same spot. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and gold. He slipped into the cool water, letting himself sink slowly into the familiar darkness. At first, there was nothing. Just the silent blue-green world, the sound of his own breathing, and the distant flicker of small fish. Then, in the corner of his vision, he saw it, a faint blue glow. She was there, waiting. Ray raised his hand in greeting. She tilted her head, then swam closer than ever before. The glow lit up her features, delicate, alien, and beautiful in a way that felt unreal. He pointed to himself and spoke slowly through his mask. Ray, then he pointed to her. She seemed to understand. Placing her hand on her chest, Nira, her voice was soft, muffled by the water but clear enough for him to hear. Ray smiled. He had a name now. He held up the waterproof board and drew a picture of the giant shadowy creature he had seen. Nira's expression changed. Her glowing eyes dimmed slightly, and she shook her head. She pointed into the depths, making a swirling motion with her hand, then held up 3 fingers. Ray understood there was not just one, but 3 of those creatures, and they were dangerous. She pointed to herself, then to the deep, and finally back to him. Her gestures were quick but precise. He understood. She was asking for help. Ray hesitated. Why me? He asked, though he knew she might not understand the words. Nira's eyes locked on his, and for a moment, there was no need for translation. She trusted him. She motioned for him to follow, and he did, swimming deeper than he had ever dared. The light from the surface faded, replaced by the soft glow from Nira's body and the strange lantern-like plants growing from the rocks. Soon, they reached a vast underwater trench. Its walls were lined with enormous structures that looked both natural and built, coral towers fused with gleaming alien metal. Between them, lights pulsed slowly like the heartbeat of a city. Ray's eyes widened. It was an alien city beneath the waves, hidden for centuries. Nira led him to the edge of a platform overlooking the trench. Below, he saw hundreds of her kind, all with glowing skin, some repairing strange devices, others carrying long spears that shimmered in the dark. They stopped and looked up at him with curiosity and caution. Ray could feel the weight of their stares. Nira spoke to them in a fluid, musical language, gesturing to him and then toward the dark depths beyond the city. Several of them shook their heads, clearly unhappy with whatever she was suggesting. Ray didn't need to understand their words to know they didn't want him involved. Nira turned back to him and placed her hand over her heart. She spoke slowly, her voice low but steady. Danger. For all, Ray nodded. He didn't know exactly what was coming, but he knew this. Whatever threatened her people might threaten his world too. One of the elders stepped forward, holding a long, curved shell. He tapped it gently, and a deep, echoing note rang out from the shadows at the edge of the city. A massive shape appeared. It wasn't one of the predators. It was a sleek, armored creature with a saddle-like seat. Nira motioned for Ray to climb on. His pulse quickened. This was no longer just a meeting, it was the beginning of a mission. As they prepared to leave, Ray glanced one last time at the glowing alien city. He knew the surface world would never believe what he had seen, but he also knew the ocean had just revealed one of its greatest secrets. Nira placed a small glowing pearl into his hand. For trust, she said. Then they dove into the black depths together, heading straight for the place where the monsters waited. The battle in the abyss. The ocean grew darker, the deeper they went. The glow from Nira's skin was the only light guiding Ray through the endless black water. Beside them, the armored sea creature moved with powerful strokes of its fins, cutting through the water like a living torpedo. Ray held tight to the creature's saddle, feeling the immense pressure around him. His ears ached slightly, but the alien breathing gear Nira had given him kept the oxygen flowing steady. Nira glanced back at him and pointed ahead. In the distance, faint red glows flickered in the dark. They moved slowly, almost like drifting embers, but Ray knew these were no harmless lights. The first predator appeared from the shadows. Its massive body was covered in thick, jagged armor plates, its eyes burned with crimson light, and its jaws were lined with rows of curved teeth. It swam toward them with terrifying speed. Nira gave a sharp signal, and the armored sea creature dove sideways. The predator lunged past, its teeth snapping inches from Ray's leg. From behind the rocks, other alien riders emerged, Nera's warriors. Each mounted on their own armored beasts, they carried glowing spears that crackled with energy. The water exploded into chaos. The predators moved in from all directions. 3 of them, just as Nera had warned, they struck with brutal force, slamming into the alien riders and trying to tear them from their mounts. Ray gripped the controls Nera had shown him. The armored creature responded instantly, banking hard. To avoid a collision, he steered toward one of the predators chasing a warrior. With a burst of speed, he rammed into the predator's side, knocking it off balance. Nera's spear struck in the same moment, piercing a gap in the predator's armor. A burst of blue energy lit the water, and the creature roared silently, twisting away into the darkness. But the fight was far from over. The second predator charged directly at Ray. Its jaws opened wide, and for a moment, he thought it would swallow him whole. At the last second, he dove straight down. The armored creature reacting perfectly, the predator overshot, slamming into a rock wall. The third predator was the largest. Its armor glinted like black steel, and it moved with deadly precision. It ignored the alien riders and came straight for Nera. Ray's instincts kicked in. He pushed his mount forward, cutting across the giant's path. The predator swerved, focusing on him instead. Its massive tail swept through the water, hitting Ray's side and spinning him off course. Pain shot through his ribs, but he forced himself to keep control. He remembered Nera's warning. The predator's armor was weakest along the jaw and belly. As the predator came again, Ray angled his mount upward, charging straight at it. At the last second, he veered under its body, driving the glowing spear Nera had given him deep into the soft plating beneath its chest. A blinding pulse of light shot out. The predator twisted violently, thrashing in the water, and then slowly drifted downward, motionless. The other 2 predators, now wounded and outnumbered, retreated into the trench. Their red eyes faded into the distance until there was only darkness once more. The water grew still. The alien riders circled Ray, their glowing eyes fixed on him. Then, one by one, they raised their spears in salute. Nera swam closer, her expression a mix of relief and pride. "You fight like one of us," she said softly. Ray smiled through his mask. "I fight for my friends." They returned to the alien city as the first pale light of dawn filtered down from above. The people gathered at the edge of the platforms, watching their warriors return. When they saw Ray alive and riding alongside Nera, they began to tap their chests in a rhythmic gesture, the sign of deep respect. The elder who had once doubted him stepped forward, holding out a larger, brighter pearl than the one Nera had given him before. "Gift for protector," he said in halting English. Ray accepted it, knowing its value was more than just a jewel. It was a promise. Nera swam beside him as he prepared to leave for the surface. "If the waves bring danger again," she said, "drop the pearl into the sea, and I will come." Ray looked out into the endless water, the alien city glowing far below, and the faint shimmer of Nera's form beside him. He knew this was not the end of their story. It was only the beginning.